positions in order, ranking them from 15 to number 1, with number 1 being the best footballing brother duo in football history. So, hopefully you guys enjoy. Of course, let me know if I've missed out some others. Maybe you have a different number 1 to me, but yeah, let's begin. So, we start with number 15. Jordan and Andre Ayew. Now, the Ayews are quite a footballing family. Their family tree could probably cobble together an entire team. Former Ghana captain and legend Abidi Pele is the father of both forwards. Jordan and Andre played together at Marseille for several years and reunited at Swansea before going their separate ways. The former now at Crystal Palace and the latter currently with Le Havre. Both have been mainstays for the Ghana national team, with Andre having the better national team career and is the current captain of the national team, but both have had respectable careers, nowhere near as good as their dads, but both really, really solid footballers. Number 14. Rio and Ferdinand. Remember when we were all convinced that England would be able to call upon these footballing brothers in the heart of defence? Rio did his bit and became a regular for the Three Lions throughout a prestigious career at Man United, and even became captain of the national side briefly. Anton, not so much. He remained uncapped and retired in 2019, but still had a solid spell at West Ham. Rio definitely carried his relationship though, but Anton wasn't awful. Number 13. Sven and Lars Bender. The pair played alongside each other for Bayer Leverkusen, represented Germany at senior level, and retired at the same time, so these might be the most brotherly set of brothers ever. Since the year 2000, there have been 16 editions of the European Under-19 Championships, and only on one occasion has the Golden Player Award been shared. In 2008, Lars and Sven both shared the award. They are literally inseparable and both carved out very good, solid careers. Number 12, we have Eden and Thorgan Hazard. When Chelsea learned that Eden had a younger brother, they snapped him up straight away. In fact, Thorgan arrived at Stamford Bridge as part of the deal the Blues agreed with Lille in order to sign Eden. However, dreams that the West Londoners could one day feature both brothers ended after Thorgan signed for Borussia Mönchengladbach in 2015 before joining Borussia Dortmund, where he started showcasing his worth. Chelsea may not have been able to realise that dream, but the Belgium national team did, with the brothers regularly featuring alongside each other for the Red Devils. However, Thorgan has had nowhere near the excess of Eden. Number 11. We have Rafinha and Thiago Alantara. One was born in Italy, the other was born in Brazil. They're both very good at football though. Older sibling Thiago is now 32 and left the Camp Nou to follow Pep Guardiola to Bayern Munich in 2019. his birth, where he has since picked up 2 caps for Brazil. Thiago definitely had the better career, but both were still very good technical players. Number 10, we have Lucas and Dio Hernandez. When they stepped into organised football together at Rio, a small club on the outskirts of Madrid, their mother asked if the pair could still play together despite their age gap of 19 months. Interestingly, Man City midfielder Rodrigo also began his career at Rio, and not long after, he joined Atletico Madrid, and then Hernandez brothers followed suit. Younger brother Theo was the first to catch the eye of Atletico and was offered a trial, but because their mother was unable to find childcare for Lucas, she brought him along to the trial. Spotted by club coaches kicking a ball with a friend nearby, Lucas was called over and offered the chance to take part, and from then on, the pair never looked back. Lucas, who is a more aggressive and defensive left-back than Theo, would represent Atletico from youth to senior level across 12 years. He made 110 appearances for them before German champions Bayern Munich signed him in 2019 for what was then a club and Bundesliga record of €80 million. Theo meanwhile remained with Atleti for a decade but did not feature for the first team. Instead, he controversially crossed the city divide and went to Real Madrid in 2017. He stayed for 2 years before swapping Spain for Italy and has now made more than 178 appearances for AC Milan. The pair now have 56 France clubs between them, with Lucas a World Cup winner, and are still young enough to move up on this list depending on what they do in the rest of their careers. Number 9, Jerome and Kevin Prince Boateng. Okay, they're technically only half brothers, but they make up for it playing for different national teams. Jerome, a flop at Man City, has matured into one of Germany's stalwarts and won the World Cup with the national side, while Kevin Prince represented Ghana instead and did very well for them at the World Cups he featured in. Jerome had a better career as one of the best centre-backs in the world for a while, but Kevin Prince was close as he was once a star for peak AC Milan and also represented Barcelona, so both actually had pretty good careers. Number 8, Bipo and Simone Inagi. Filippo Inzaghi was the more iconic brother during his playing time in Serie A, scoring goals for fun with Atalanta, Juventus and AC Milan, not to mention his exceptional record for the Italian national team. Simone, meanwhile, spent most of his career with Lazio and only mustered 3 Italian caps, though is currently enjoying the better managerial career than his once prolific brother. Not that Bipo is supporting his endeavours though. Simone is currently the manager of Inter and led them to a Champions League final last year, knocking out AC Milan on the way, which Bipo was not too happy about. He said, "I'm happy for my brother and he deserves to make this semi-final, but I'm tied to Milan and will always be their supporter." So much for a supportive brother. Number 7, Ronald and Irwin Coleman. Irwin may be the older brother, but it is Ronald who enjoyed the more prolific career. Ronald won double the number of caps for the Netherlands as his sibling and also represented Barcelona, while Irwin didn't play outside of the Eredivisie. Younger sibling Ronald enjoyed a superb career in the Netherlands and at Barcelona. He established himself as one of the great deep-lying ball players in Europe. Irwin didn't quite hit the same heights, but still clocked up 31 caps for the national team. They both went into football management, with Irwin working as an assistant to Ronald during his stints in charge of Southampton and Everton. But after a poor showing on Merseyside, they have since gone their separate ways. Ronald is now the manager of the Netherlands for the second time, while Irwin is his assistant. Number 6. Gary and Phil Neville. Although both men were members of United's class of 92, Phil is not remembered as fondly as Gary at Old Trafford. He isn't well liked in general, really, after conceding a penalty for England against Romania in Euro 2000. And that reputation took another hit after he pitched up at Valencia as assistant manager to his brother, with the duo lasting less than a year before they were sacked following a disastrous campaign. Phil remained in management, managing Inter Miami after underwhelming with England's Lionesses, while Gary has stuck to punditry. Despite not being the most glamorous set of brothers, they were very, very successful. Number 5. Ronald and Frank Dor. For a whole generation of football fans, any mention of the Netherlands national team conjures images of the magnificent underachievers of the 1990s and early 2000s. And perhaps no players represent that generation better than the silky De Boer twins. These two were anything but a bore on the pitch. They literally followed each other around for their entire careers, both featuring for Ajax, Barcelona, Rangers, Al Shamal and Al Rayyan before their retirements. Frank became manager of Ajax in 2010, while Ronald was a coach. Frank has since gone on to manage Inter Milan, Crystal Palace, Atlanta United and the Netherlands national team, but hasn't found a new home after leaving the latter in 2021. Ronald remained a coach at youth level in Ajax before leaving in 2022. Number 4. Yaya and Kolo. Perhaps the most iconic set of brothers in recent years, these two were incredible. Kolo was not only a solid member of Arsenal's invincible side, but he also went on to win the Premier League title with Man City in 2011, doing so alongside his brother. For Yaya, he became the first player to win African Player of the Year 4 times in a row in 2014, and would win a further 2 league titles with the Citizens, while Kolo enjoyed one final hurrah with Celtic before hanging up his boots in 2017. Kolo was most recently manager of Wigan, while Yaya is an academy coach at Tottenham. Bonus points for having one of the best chants in football history. Yaya, 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 Dore, Kolo. Okay, that's all you get. Number 3. Franco and Giuseppe Baresi. In at 3 are the brave Baresi boys. Franco's standing in the global game is hardly up for debate. He managed the feat of finishing first, second and third at World Cups, and must be considered as arguably Italy's best ever defender. But older brother Giuseppe was no slouch either, racking up almost 400 appearances for Inter Milan, which didn't go down well, as when brothers play for nemesis clubs, it can be regarded as one of the fiercest sibling rivalries known to mankind. And that is exactly what Franco and Giuseppe Baresi done during their playing careers. Franco was a Milan legend during his time on the pitch, while Giuseppe was an Inter legend, with both players winning a plethora of titles, as well as a few bumps and bruises during the Milan derby. Number 2, just missing out on top spot, we have Michael and Brian Laundrop. dangerous ability and complemented each other beautifully. Michael was the central schemer, capable of splitting defences with a subtle right foot, while Brian was the twisting winger. Despite Michael winning league titles with Juventus, Barcelona and Real Madrid, as well as a European Cup, brother Brian perhaps topped his brother after he helped Denmark to the unlikeliest of European Championship triumphs in 1992. If you want to know more about that, watch my video where we look at the best underdog stories of all time. Anyway, Michael and Brian both ruled themselves out of the national selection that year after disagreements with the then coach Richard Nielsen. But the latter opted to go to the tournament anyway, while his brother decided against it. And well, what a bad decision that was. If he had gone and they lifted that Euros together, they may well have taken number one on this list. But in at number one we have Bobby and Jack Charlton. How can you upstage your sibling in the biggest possible way? Earn yourself a knighthood. The Charlton brothers won the World Cup in the same side. That alone would be enough for number one. But then there are their individual achievements. Sir Bobby's 3 league titles and a Ballon d'Or, Jack's title win with Leeds in 1969, and impressive spell in charge of the Republic of Ireland. Bobby also went on to become the nation's all-time top scorer before a certain Wayne Rooney came along. Jack was left languishing on 35 caps, but that's still fantastic, and those two for me, considering they won the World Cup together in the same side. They are the greatest set of brothers to ever play football. So there we go, that is my rankings.